What's your name and where are you from?
My name is Russel Bentley. I'm from Austin, Texas in the United States.
Yeah, okay. Why did you come on Donbass and want to take part in this war?
Because I'm a communist, I'm an anti-fascist, and I've seen the crimes of the American government around the world. Yugoslavia, Iraq, Libya, Syria, and when I saw what they were doing here in Ukraine, I knew that it was just another war crime. It was another country that the United States was going to take over, install a puppet, and pillage and destroy. And I finally, when I saw the attack on Luhansk city center where Anna Kukurina was killed, when I saw that picture, my decision was made and I began immediately making plans to come here.
What are you doing here?
I'm here to defend the people of Donbass against fascism and also to defend the world against fascism.
Do you help or you fight with a gun and something like this?
Yes, I've been in many battles. I've been at the front for 6 months, the airport in Spartak, involved in very heavy fighting. And right now I'm connected with Battalion Han. I'm a part of the ＳUBCRIBER combat unit, and we are now working with Battalion Han. Before we worked with Vostok Battalion. And right now I am information warrior. I use a camera and a computer more than a gun.
Why do you fight in information war? Is it important or something?
It is very, very important. This struggle is not just about Donbass. It's a struggle for the future of humanity, and it is fought every bit as much in the hearts and minds of humanity as it is at the front with weapons.
Can you tell some interesting details about battles?
Yes, I was in very, very heavy fighting at a position called Troishka. It's a monastery very close to the new terminal and the control tower. I was there in January. It was very, very heavy fighting. Every day the Ukrainian army in Pravi sector also was there, would attack us. They would come up to the tree line, maybe 200 meters away, open fire with all kinds of weapons. We defended our position. At that position there was usually of ＳUBCRIBER fighters, between 15 and 20 fighters. We would fight against 50 or 100 Ukrainian soldiers at a time, and we would win.
What can you say about the enemy? Ukrainian army.
The Ukrainian army is not our enemy. The soldiers of the Ukrainian army that have been conscripted and forced to fight against their brothers here in Donbass are not our enemy. Our enemy are the fascists, the punitive brigades, and the mercenaries, hired killers that are here. Those people we are happy to kill. The people that are in the Ukrainian army, we reluctantly fight against them. Our enemy is their enemy too. They know that, and they are starting to turn against their corrupt masters even now. And we say to our Ukrainian brothers that have been forced to fight against us that we are not your enemy, and we don't think that you are our enemy either.
I want you to comment the fact is that in the United States is, can you comment legalization of gay marriage in the United States? Is it positive or negative?
Well, I think it's a difficult question, and I think that my personal opinion is that people should be able to love whoever they want. What people do in their own private lives as far as love is no one else's business but their own. And I know scientifically it's been proven that somewhere between 5 and 10% of the human population has a genetic proclivity towards homosexuality, and that is not their fault. To be prejudiced against those people is as foolish as to be prejudiced against people because of their race or religion or nationality. So I'm not prejudiced against gays, and I think that they should have a right to have the same legal rights as anybody else, just like different races should all. I mean, I believe in equality. That being said, I do believe that there is a intentional program that is being put in place to promote homosexual activity, non-traditional sexual activity, in order to help reduce the population. The people that want to rule this planet, the people that own the Western governments, they would like to see the population diminished significantly, and I think that's what they're working to do. And so, while I do absolutely support equality for gay rights, at the same time I think there is a program to promote it, and I don't think that is good.
You're American, and do you believe that the United States have won in the Second World War?
Well, actually I'm a Novo-Russian now, but I will say this, that I know history, and I know that the true facts are that 85% of the combat that the German army fought in the Second World War was against the Russians. So there you have it. The Americans lost 500,000 in the Second World War in the European theater. The Russians lost 25 million. It's pretty obvious to see who suffered the most and who did most of the fighting. Most Americans are very ignorant of history. They say, well, America is the greatest country, with the only reason being that that's where they're from. The truth of history is there for anyone to find it, although there are people trying to change history now and go back and rewrite it. But the truth is out there. The Russian people defeated fascism in the Second World War, and the Russian people are defeating fascism here again today in Donbass.
Why do American people don't want to know the truth about the Second World War, the truth about this war and war in Yugoslavia and so on and so forth?
The problem with the American people is they are afraid to know the truth. When I was at a position called Bliznia in Spartak, we were surrounded on three sides by Ukrainian army, Polish army, Pravi sector, mercenaries. We were shot at every day. And it occurred to me there that myself and my comrades there in that position, surrounded on three sides by ruthless killers, were less afraid than most of the people that I know back in the United States in their own homes. Fear is the enemy. That's what Mahatma Gandhi said. He said, fear is the enemy. We think it is hate, but it is not. It is fear. And that's the problem with the United States people. They are willfully ignorant. They do not want to know, because if you know the truth about things like Yugoslavia or 9/11 or the war here in Ukraine, if you know the truth, then you also know that you have a responsibility to do something about it. And so people would rather worry more about a football game or, you know, dating a girl or something like that, stuff that's simple in their small world. It's a big world, and it's all interconnected. As the Native American Lakota Indians say, Mitakiwasan, we are all related. What happens here affects what happens there. And so the people in the United States need to let go of their fear. They need to be brave enough to be informed, and then they need to be brave enough to do something about it. I don't call myself a hero, I'm just a regular guy. But that's what I'm doing. And if you're not doing it, then what kind of person does that make you?
Have you had any military experience before you came here, or you started to fight already in this war?
I had 3 years in the United States Army back in the 1980s. I was stationed in Germany, and I've also had a bit of military experience elsewhere.
A lot of guys that served in Ukrainian army or in Soviet army before say that they have different feelings about their previous experience in army, because they swear to defend some country, for example Ukraine, and now they fight against Ukraine. And as we know, United States now support Ukraine. So, what are your feelings about about this? Do you feel yourself like treating U.S. Army or like fighting for something else? What do you feel about this?
I'm a patriotic American. I love the country I was born in. I love the American people. I hate our government. We have a fascist government. I'm not a traitor to the American people. The government of the United States right now is the traitor to the American people. I swore to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, which has been erased in the last 25 years. It's been erased. That's what I swore to protect when I joined the United States Army. But I'll tell you something. I'm not really a citizen of America or of Nova Russia. I'm a citizen of the world. I fight here to defend all the people in the world. I don't have any children of my own. So all the children in the world matter as much to me equally as if they were my own. And that's who I fight to defend.
I see you have a Soviet military belt. I know a lot of guys tell what the Soviet symbols on the belts, on the hats mean for them. What does it mean for you?
I am a communist. I am a member of СУБCРIBЕР, the Essence of Time organization. That's a communist organization. They have a combat unit here that's been here since the beginning of the war. I joined that unit when I got here, and they're very, very hard, serious soldiers. Great comrades and good men. They fight for an idea. They fight for the betterment of humanity. And they want to bring back communism, but different than it was before. But communism is what it took to defeat fascism before, and that's what it's going to take to defeat fascism this time. So I'm proud to be a communist. I know Russian history, and I respect it. I think that the historical mission of the Russian people has been to prevent any one country from ruling the world, and they've done it. They did it with Genghis Khan, they did it with Napoleon, they did it with Hitler, and they'll do it again this time too. And I'm proud of my friendship and my working with the Russian people here. And I mean, not the Russian army. The Russian army is not fighting in Donbass. It is the people of Donbass and volunteers from all over the world that are coming here, and those are the people that are defeating the fascists from Western Ukraine.
Have you seen or maybe spoke with captured soldiers from Western Ukraine? I mean, do you think they are really Nazis, or do you think they are some brainwashed people? How did you imagine them before, and how do you imagine them now?
Well, I mean, there are some of those guys that are real Nazis. They are every bit as ruthless and evil as the German Nazis, as Bandera. How can any decent human being hold up Bandera and say that he was anything other than a war criminal and a swine? And so those people, they are brainwashed. And it's actually, I mean, everyone has to take responsibility for themselves, but at the same time, what's happened in Ukraine over the last, even more than 25 years, is that there has been an intentional operation to brainwash people here, to create organizations like Pravy Sector and Svoboda Party to do exactly what they're doing right now, which is to destroy this country. Those people that are Nazis, they are not patriots of Ukraine. They are fools, and they are the tools of the true enemies of the Ukrainian people and the true enemies of humanity. And but those that are in Pravy Sector and Svoboda Party, I have no problem whatsoever. They're like mad dogs. They cannot be reasoned with. And you see a mad dog or a mosquito, there's no way that you can try and teach it to improve. So there's only one thing to do: put it out of its misery.
And what about people of Donbass, of Novorossiya? Are they the way you imagined when you were going here? Are you disappointed or happy?
No, they are. I watched many videos and much news about Ukraine before I came here, and they are exactly like I imagined. They are the coolest and most beautiful and bravest people that I've ever known. They are hard fighters. They're right up there with Afghans and Chechens when it comes to defending themselves. But at the same time, they're dobry ljudi, man. They are so open-handed and generous and friendly, and I love it here. I love it. This is my new home. I love it here.
Have you met another volunteers from Europe or USA here?
Yes.
Are they numerous, or you thought that international anti-fascist movement will be much bigger? What do you think about that international movement altogether?
It is a very difficult thing to come here and join the Donbass Defense Forces and fight. And this is a real war. This is a hard and heavy war. Tanks and artillery. You know, this isn't like in Belfast or even like in Matamoros in Mexico. This is with big bombs, and it's very hard, and it takes a lot of courage and dedication and determination to come here. And there are many. There are scores of people that I know of, some of whom I serve with, that are from Western countries, and many volunteers from the former Soviet Unions and from Russia are also here. And they're good people, and they are here because they are willing to put their lives on the lines for their principles, and their principles are right. So the international movement is strong here.
How do you imagine the victory? By this situation, or the militaries should go to Kiev or to Lvov? Which line is the line for our victory?
Well,
you think?
And when I first got here in December, I did not bring any summer clothes. I only brought winter clothes because I really did not expect to survive through the winter. But right now, we are winning the war. We are winning the war in Ukraine. The Nazis in Kiev are busy defeating themselves right now. The people in Western Ukraine are starting to understand the terrible mistake that they've made, and they are starting to not only withdraw their support from the illegal clown government that they have right now, but they are starting to stand up and protest. I've seen in Lviv, I've seen pictures of pro-Donbass graffiti that's starting to show up on the wall. Not just one or two, but many. And the same in Kiev, same in Odessa, same everywhere. And so we'll be more than happy to help the Nazis defeat themselves, but I think Vladimir Putin has made exactly the right choices in this war. He knew that a foreign-backed puppet government could not last long here, and rather than risk World War III, which is what the lunatics in Washington, D.C. are more than happy to risk, he has stayed back, and he has played this part of the big chess game perfectly. And I think that within the year, the Kiev government will fall, and the Ukrainian military will no longer fight against Donbass. I can guarantee that the people of Donbass will never, ever accept any kind of government that is against their interests. We have fought too hard, we have suffered too much to ever let any phony government or any oligarchs or any corrupt bandit warlord type situation happen here. That's not going to happen.
In the other side, in Ukraine, also a lot of international, European and US volunteers fight.
Not volunteers.
No, not volunteers.
Mercenaries.
I wanted to ask. Some call them mercenaries. Some tell that they are skinheads. They are European Nazis that come here. Mm-hmm. What do you think about them?
They make good targets. I mean, I mean, it's like the guy when I was interviewed by Vice News, and the guy who interviewed me, he talked about an American that came here to fight with the Ukrainian army and who was killed. And you know, if you want to fight against people who, if you want to attack people's homes, if you want to fight for fascism, don't be surprised if you get killed, and we will kill you. If you come here, if you come to Donbass with a gun, we will kill you. We will take your weapons, and your bones will fertilize our fields. But we do not want war. We do not want war. We want peace. We are good people here, but we are hard fighters, and the Ukrainian army has found that out.
Do you want to tell something to people of Donbass or to other people?
Come to Donbass and see for yourselves. To all the people around the world, if you come here and see with your own eyes what's really going on here, I mean, not just the crimes of the U.S.-backed Kiev fascists, but also the courage and kindness and beauty of the people of Donbass. It will spin your wig. It will change your whole world perspective, and that's the best thing you can do. Otherwise, if you can't come here, then just learn the truth as much as you can. What the government in the West and what the Western media tell you is lies, and I mean big lies, not just a little bit slanted one way or the other. They say lies that are 180 degrees from the truth. And so you have to find out for yourselves. You have a responsibility to educate yourself, to find the truth for yourself, to not believe lies, even though they're spoon-fed to you. You have a responsibility to yourself, and you have a responsibility to the future generations of humanity. And just look at your country, whatever country, Western Europe, United States, Canada, Australia. Look at the way your country has been going for the last 20 years. And if it keeps going the way that it's been going for the last 20 years, where do you think it's going to end up? Where do you think it's going to go? What do you think is going to be the end result? This is the front line of a battle for the future of humanity. And as the old saying goes, for evil to triumph, all that is necessary is for good people to do nothing. So do something.
The last question, the very last question. What do you plan to do after the victory? Are you planning to serve in army or some peaceful profession?
After victory, I plan to live in Donetsk. I love this city. It is my new home. I'm going to live here. I may continue as a soldier. I intend to continue to intend to continue working with ＳUBCRIBER, and I would like to open a Mexican food restaurant here.
Great. Thanks.
My pleasure.